crafty cuties, today I am going to show you how I made this December daily layout. It is a waterfall layout with pockets, and I have a little tie here. This is going to be a really great layout if you have a lot that you want to document on one day. You can fit so much in one of these waterfalls, and it's only taking up 6 by 6 inches. And if you can see here, I have little pockets, which you can actually fit a ton in these pockets as well. And so we're gonna just hop right on into the tutorial. And to start out, I am going to be doing this waterfall page on the back of this 6 by 6. And this is going to allow us to have multiple photos in one small layout. This right here is a page that measures 6 inches by about 5.5. And I just wanted to have this down as a base. I am actually going to take some baker's twine and let's see here. I'm not even going to measure. I'm just going to take a big piece of it and I'm going to glue it underneath this piece because I want this to tie around my photos. And so I'm just going to eyeball it, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue this base page down. Just going to try to center this, and you really don't need a base page. I mostly wanted one so that I could place the baker's twine underneath it and just have it kind of hidden. So you could skip this if you wanted. Okay, so I have my photos already matted, as you can see, because I was going to start this without filming, but then I was like, no, I should show you guys. So I want 3 pages on my waterfall. And so these all measure 5 inches by 5 inches. And I just measured them to make sure they were big enough for my photos. And I'm going to fold each one, or you could use a scoreboard if you have. I'm just gonna eyeball it and measure, or I'm not going to measure. I'm going to fold them about 1/4 of an inch. I don't know why I always lose my voice at the end of the day. It is insane. So just go ahead and use your scoreboard or fold at about 1/4 of an inch at the tops of your pages. As long as they're big enough pages for your photos, you are good to go. Okay. And since these are squares, it doesn't matter which side I'm folding on because they measure the same all the way around. Okay. So now we want to go ahead and adhere these down, and I'll show you. I'm just making sure these are very creased. Okay, so in order for this to work correctly, you are going to want to adhere these like so. So the bottom one is going to be the lowest and the top is going to be the highest, if that makes sense. And since I want to make sure that mine fit on this page, I'm going to make sure I know how much space should be in between each one. You guys probably know me by now. I don't like to measure. I just like to do it. So I'm going to add wet glue at the top here. And I know that I want this at just about the very top of this page. So now I'm going to take my second and add glue to the top as well. Try not to add too much because we don't need a sticky mess. Okay, so now I'm going to lift this one up and I'm going to figure out, let's see, I might actually put the bottom one on first because I know I wanted that one to be lined up with the bottom down here. I hope that makes sense why I'm doing it that way. Just so I can make sure that everything is measured just right. And this is where it would come in handy if you wanted to measure. So I can definitely give you guys a more detailed tutorial on a waterfall in the future where I would like use measurements and whatnot. Okay, so we have 2, and then I want one more, so we are going to make sure that this one is in the middle of those 2. So add my glue, and then I'm just going to, again, eyeball it and make sure to place it right around the middle here to give us the best look. right around there, and I'm going to let this glue dry for just a moment before we move on. Okay, so those are pretty dry. Now you can see why I wanted the baker's twine to be where I put it so that I can tie it when we are all done and just kind of hold the pages down because they will bulk up a little. And this one I guess was not quite dry. So for the front page, I want to decorate it, and I think I will leave the 2 photos for the insides. And so I'm going to start with this one right here. This is kind of my main focus. So I'm going to save the front page for some decorations because I have a ton and ton of ephemera pieces that I need to use up. Okay, so for the pockets, I am going to just make 2, and I have 2 pieces that are also 5 inches by 5 inches, so the same size of whatever page you're doing. And then I'm going to make 3 identical folds on these sides, and these are 1/8 of an inch. Just fold all the way across there, and then I'm going to take my scissors and just cut off the corners on the 2 corners that have the folds that meet. So now you can kind of see this is going to be our pocket, and we are going to put glue all alongside the folded in pages here, and then I'll just give you an idea here how this is going. I'm going to put the first pocket page on the back of this one, and so we will glue these down like so, and that gives you a little bit of room for your journaling card or whatever. And then the second one will go on the back here. So let's go ahead, and if you wanted to do a ton of journaling, or if you had memorabilia, you could do a pocket page on the back of all of the pages. But I didn't have that much to journal, so just going to use this wet glue, and then again, we're gonna have to let it dry for a bit before I can keep going. Dry adhesive might actually work best for this part, just because you don't wanna get glue anywhere other than the little flaps, really. Okay, so pocket number 1 is on and ready to go. Now we will add the second on the back here. And I have my second one here. I just need to fold these in and add glue. So I'm just going to repeat that for this one. Cut the corners off just to get rid of some of the bulk, then add glue. Okay, so now number 2 is on, just drying. And once we are done with that, I will decorate the front page. So for my 2 pockets, I'm actually just going to use some smaller journaling cards because I have a ton and I want to use them up. And I'm going to use some washi tape to make a little tab, just so you can easily pull it out. These are much bigger than, or these are much smaller than I really need for the pockets, but they will work. Now I am going to finish off the top of the waterfall with some embellishments, but first I was showing you this little printout here that is the brainwave printout from my son's appointment, and I wanted to include that in the layout, but it's not super pretty, it's just more of a memory. So I'm going to stick it in this little belly band that I had already made in the book. And I think I will probably put some stickers on this page just to spruce it up a bit. I'm going to speed things up a bit because it took me way too long to figure out which embellishments I wanted to use, but I just have so many that I had been collecting, and I was like, you know what, this is a great spot to use some. And that little tree I actually end up moving, so I'm actually really glad that I used the wet glue, because you do have a little bit of time to move things around, and I'm really indecisive, so that works well for me. So I did include this number 8 tag as well because this was day 8, so I thought it would be fun to just kind of include that in the cluster. And you can just see I'm just basically picking and choosing and changing my mind. There we go. And luckily I was going to just move something over that area anyway, so it's okay that I ripped the paper a little bit. But I had a lot of fun with this layout, and I hope it gives you some ideas for your December daily. I think that waterfalls are just such a fun way to include a bunch of memories in one little spot, and they're just a really fun interactive piece in your journal as well. So here we go. I am done with this layout, guys, and I have a few more layouts actually filmed to share with you, so I hope you guys like them, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.